here to help each other. So, use that to your benefit. So you could really like talk about a house that just sold and not say, I sold it, but just say, and we just sold this house, our office.
Right.
And so you're not being like creepy, weird, but you're
Right.
just winning off someone's win. And so just know that sometimes you got to fake it till you make it kind of thing. Don't be afraid
Right.
to do that. But I love the idea of like your mini series. That's so cool because
Yeah.
then you can go deep on one idea and get some content that's good right away.
Absolutely. And even maybe if there's a Keller Williams house that was listed that sold over asking, make a small little case study. Why was it sold over asking? What did the agent did? And
How did they get over
how
asking?
was it different from the other agent because it sold for more? And
Yeah,
maybe
and
even
this
that. So
truth
yeah, I
be
love
told, you're
that.
going to find a lot of sold over asking right now.
Yeah, at the moment right now, yeah. My wife told me she's had people from New York that had cash offers and went 30,000 over asking and just paid cash for it.
Well,
They're like, well,
here's
it's not
here's
gonna,
here's what you'll see is you'll see that agents not only when they're writing offers have to send a video from the family about how much they love the house and how much they hope they get picked and all that. You really got to lay it on thick to get your offer approved and accepted. But agents are the consumers are the buyers are actually saying, I will not only if it doesn't appraise out, I'll come to the table with up to $20,000.
Yeah.
That's insane and it's true, but that's its market because it's such a scarcity. And that's why when I say, you guys got to talk to your people and be that that expert, the economist basically for your peeps. You need to be that person because they need to hear this because there are lots of listings out there, they're just not listed yet. And it's people that that are in your world that are afraid of the world right now, or life is kicking their butt right now, or they just are trying to make it through homeschooling sometimes, and sometimes they drop their kid at school and they're working from their kitchen table. That life is weird. So a lot of people are in a different world. They're like in their own little bubble right now, more than they ever have been. They're kind of caught up in their bubble. And they don't realize that the market is good, or that, they could probably go find a house that would be better suited for them now that they, have kept their lifestyle has changed,
Yeah. Or now that they know with COVID, like I need to update my house. The 2 kids and my husband is too much. I need more
golly,
space.
yeah, we would die for another bathroom, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it gives you
Yeah.
opportunities too.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea to go deep on that one thing and like think of it as a mini series and be like that. And I think there's plenty of people on this call that you could even tap on the shoulder and interview. If someone's had a property sell over ask, Stefan would love to probably interview you and say, what did you do to make that happen? He's building content. So
yeah, cool. I was just really like, because I haven't sold a house, right? And so what is the content I can create and be credible with? And I thought that was a really good start.
No, that's a great start. And Juan just joined the call, so you have to take Juan later. Stefan had the idea, since he hasn't sold a house yet, and he's really good at content and making content. That's his background. So obviously he can run with this really easily. But he wants to be credible. So tell him what you think your mini series should be like, just a little video mini series.
Yep. So I was thinking, I was wrecking my brain yesterday. What can I create and be authentic? And since I haven't sold a house and I'm new in real estate, I felt like the one thing I can be authentic with is telling people the top 10 kind of mistakes, or the top 10 things to stay away from if you're planning on buying a home. For example, like don't buy a new car. Don't get a new credit card and rack it up on Christmas when you're buying a home in January. Just like a quick 10-point series on Instagram, keep them short. And then I want to expand on that series, for example, like interviewing you, and then take those people from my Instagram over to my YouTube channel, which then would give them a little bit longer of a content and dive into those subjects a little bit more.
Well, and I mentioned to Stefan, Juan, what you do. And when is your class?
I have 2 classes now for first-time home buyers. The first one is next week, Wednesday through Friday. That's sold out. Next one is the 11th, 12th, and 13th of November, and that's filling up pretty quick.
And that is, can you just kind of cover what you do in that and what that class is for? Because they could promote that.
Right. I mean, it's
or they could go to it.
Yeah, it's basically what it takes to buy a house. and all the pieces that a home buyer should know in order to be better prepared, including the big piece that everybody kind of ties together, which is not really connected, but is the down payment assistance and the way to get help for a first-time home buyer. If you take that piece out, it's a perfect class also on what it is to buy a home. All the little pieces that are involved, the players that are involved, responsibilities that are involved, what you should or should not do. It would be perfect for you, Stefan, to cut in pieces and make that your mini series. And we can go through that in detail. Then the other half of it is all of the assistance that are available, what is required to get the assistance.
Juan, I think this should replace boot camp. Who else thinks that?
I don't know.
Seriously, because it's like you almost need to be taught like in micro detail the process you're about to teach people, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, and what it's great is that it's and I hate saying it this way, it's a great lead generator for newer agents or agents that want to serve, underprivileged areas, because there are not so many, there are obstacles in the way that not every realtor can be a first-time home buyer authorized
Specialist.
realtor.
Yeah, not everyone is willing to take the time or slow down or connect the dots and educate.
Right. Because you have to get certified, you have to go through, the approval by the counties that you're going to serve, and that takes some time. And not many agents are willing to do that. So now I'm going to give you a little inside secret. Those agents that don't want to do that, guess what they're going to do with you if you are it? They're going to refer it to
approach you and just hand them off to you.
They're going to say, hey, here's a referral, first-time home buyer, take it away, because they don't mind getting 30%. And oh my God, you got to do 70% on something that somebody gave you.
Best.
Yeah. And you might have that client for life because you took them by the hand that first time, and now they're like, hey,
exactly.
this was such a great
and you're
experience.
gonna have their kids and their friends and their neighbor. It's just like anytime you help anybody out of a tough spot, they're so loyal and grateful for you. And what a cool experience. But I honestly think when I was talking to Juan about this, because we talked about this at Mega Camp that you were doing this, I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome. I almost feel like for new agents, this is a class you should take. Because none of you really understand, you don't learn the micro detail, and you don't learn anything in real estate school, let's be honest. You learn how to pass that test. But you don't learn how this goes, right? I mean, just think of like, we should almost do a video like, yeah, you think you want to join, you want to become a realtor? Let me tell you what it's really about, because it's so different than, it's not like HGTV, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's like a fake episode, right?
Now, Juan, were you going to do like a Zoom class for agents? Did you talk about that, you guys?
Well, this is for the consumer.
Yeah,
right. But I meant do one, because, maybe with an agent, you could skip some parts, but basically do an overview of what Jessica's talking about.
Yeah, no, I could do that. And, I know Jessica and I were, tossing around the idea of making it part of like boot camp class.
I think it's almost like boot camp before you actually learn how to fill out the contracts. Is learn the process first, and then okay, now let's do a story-based scenario where you fill in the blanks. And
I think that's a great idea, Jess.
Yeah, because I think that's how most of us learn. Let's be honest. You got to be scenario based, and you got to get your hands dirty. You can't just watch a Zoom. It's like, okay, here's the story problem. You guys all go hack up a contract and try to fill it out, and we're going to go through it after you've tried on your own. And I'm going to explain what should go in each blank. That's how I see it going really well.
Yeah.
So back to the mini series. Jessica, I'm going to double down on algorithms, on what I at least know and believed in for the last 10, 15 years. Because I think having Facebook as a new agent allows me also to build my database with people that are new in market and then find me that way, and just.
Well, we've never been in this spot before, Stefan. I mean, just to, I've been in this business. This is because it was October when I turned 20 that I was like all in on real estate. So it's now literally 26 years. I've never seen this market before. This market has never existed before. And COVID's like a new level with it, like of weirdness, And the thing is that with them changing the algorithm, it's like a perfect storm. Like it's,
Yeah.
and because I understand that, I understand real estate, I'm like, wow. But I also understand what the Department of Justice is doing with Google and Facebook. And if they actually get their way, they won't be able to do what they're doing with us. So I like how I see it right now, you guys, is a data grab. I almost don't even care if you convert those Facebook leads, just get that data, because those people are at those
100%.
Right. Those consumers are acting interested in real estate. You think about any lead generation you guys are doing. I don't care if it's networking, to just knowing a lot of people, to open houses every other weekend religiously, or whatever you're doing, just grabbing that many people and getting their contact information that have interest in real estate is not easy to do. That's your job, right? And you guys just do it in different ways and with different skill sets and with different panache. That's really what you guys do. Some of you are really deliberate and it's 9 to 11, and some of you like wander around and collect people. You know, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Yet the truth is, none of what you're doing, I could take any one of you on and beat you by just spending a few bucks on those things. And yet, I don't know how long you're going to be able to do it legally, you know, because at some point, and I agree, I think it's kind of creepy that Facebook and Google are listening to us and tracking us and stalking us and algorithming us and putting stuff in front of us and changing our behavior and doing all this stuff that's probably not good for anybody. But while you have it, you might as well use it. I know that sounds horrible to say, but
and on the end of the day, and why are they doing it, and why are they keeping us on that? Is because of advertisement. It all goes back of generating money and advertisement. That algorithm, they know what you're watching and not watching. They know that you spent 30 seconds long on a Formula One video, and if it's a bass fishing video, will go right through. So if you haven't spent time on that for a week, they will try to find the best videos that suit your algorithm to get you back. I mean, it's super refined. I don't think people know what depth this technology goes into.
There's a really good, and I know that we're benefiting from it right now. So I'm like, it's kind of like you feel like Jekyll and Hyde, like, I got to see that. Yeah, but I'm like, go for it now, because I don't know how long you guys are going to legally be able to do this. And yet that's how good it is. But there's a really good documentary on Netflix called Social Dilemma about this. And it's all these people that left Google and Facebook specifically that said, this isn't right. And they're like, this is so wrong what we're doing. And you guys don't even realize what we're doing to you. We're changing your behavior. And I can prove it. And I used to do it to you. And it's like, I don't feel good about it anymore. So I left, you know, and it's funny because it's really a big thing in the world right now. And it's going to become a big conversation that you guys are going to hear a lot of in 2021. And the truth is, you know, we have this moment in time where you actually have the ability to be one of these people grabbing data that are people acting like really interested in real estate. And I think of all the hard work you guys do to get relationships going. And, you know, especially if you relocate or you're starting over in a new realm or new chapter of your life or whatever, and you don't have as much of a database as you maybe did, you know, whatever reason, it's tough. And so, you know, I just want you guys to know that, you know, do your best to keep up with the tech, but I would seriously think about, even if you know, say you have a good lender that you give a lot of business to, and maybe in the past they did some co-marketing with you, or they maybe helped promote a big open house or a customer event that you had, you know, talk to them, because they also, you know, lenders don't really need leads right now because of the craziness going on. But they've helped finance your marketing in the past, and they can do that with the RESPA rules. There's just rules that they have to follow. So you can't expect them to do everything, and they can't pay for everything. But let's just say I'm a really good lender friend of yours. Or I'm a staging company that's getting started and I need new clients. And, you know, I would probably benefit from going in with you, and maybe every time you spend $30 for a Facebook ad, I spend 10 of it. And you send me that same data. You just export and say, here you go, market yourself, good luck. And you work that together. You guys can do all those things. And so if you don't have a big budget, there's a way to make your budget bigger by partnering with someone else that would also benefit from having a list of people that look like they're going to be buying or selling in the next 6 months or so. But you really have that moment in time where you can have that data grab. And I don't know if you guys really realize what it is. And yet I feel like the truth is, there's going to be a deadline and then you're not going to have it at your fingertips. You're like, darn it, I wish I would have. I wish I would have just done it. I wish I would have done like $100 worth of ads just to get more of a database. And the reason I bring this up is, you know, when I relocated here, you know, poor Mark had no database, and the only people he knew were realtors, because, you know, we joined a real estate company. We didn't have any friends here. We knew nobody here except realtors. And, you know, he had to start at zero, and it took a good year and a half before we felt like momentum happened, because it just takes time to get to know people, you know. And you think about, you're in the job of people collecting, right? You really are. You're in the job of people collecting, relationship gathering, and staying in relationship with people so that when they have a real estate need, they see you as the expert to go to. It's nothing more than that, you know. And some of you are better collectors and communicators than others. It's really the bottom line. And yet you have this opportunity. So I love your idea. And I love the fact that you're thinking of it as like a mini series, because that's really the way to think about it. Because it's one thing to make a video. It's another to make a playlist that's going to work off of it. So if you were able to see Juan's class and the chapters he hits, that's your mini series.
Yeah, no, I love that, and thank you for the feedback. The reason you've been reading a great book, and you've mentioned it a few times, I actually ordered it. It's supposed to come today. 1 million followers in 30 days. If this doesn't work out with buying the data, or there's a stop to that, I think if you're able to have 1 million followers, and even if it takes you 60 days, having an outlet that is that large of just seeing your daily stuff, like, hey, taking a run on Bayshore, or check out this neighborhood in Safety Harbor, 1 million people is nothing to frown upon. Like, that is a huge outlet.
It is. And, you know, but when you read the book, so you're not disappointed. I'm not going to tell you the ending. I'm not there yet.
Right.
But the point is, it's one thing to have 1 million followers that you can go get, but he's almost spoofing the Beyoncés and the Taylor Swift, who he works for, and the Justin Biebers, because it's not, and he uses them as good examples because they have a tribe. They didn't have a follower, because it's just like an app. How many apps do you guys have on your phone that you've never used again? Right. Most of them, like 90% of your apps, you maybe never will use again. And someone got you to download it once because you needed to join, like do one thing. And then you're like, never going to see that again. And it's on like page 8 of your phone, right? His whole concept is, how do you build a community? Now, here's the thing. You guys don't have to do anything more complex than to tell anything newsworthy in the industry that you're hearing.
Right.
That's it. Now, you could be more deliberate, and every month on this day, this report goes out about the market. Sure. You could literally just make sure that you never miss a Gary Ubaldini mastermind, which is so fantastic. He goes through the whole micro market. He explains it to you, and you basically write your notes feverishly, and he gives you all the data. And then you can just literally right after that, do a 5-minute overview of the high points, and you're done. I mean, it's really that's all you have to do. You never have to get more complex than that. I think we sometimes get caught up and try to be more complex than we need to be. But if, you know, you're my community and I do that once a month for you religiously, when I'm going to actually do anything housing related, you're going to be my person, because I know you know your stuff, right? You're my local expert. And if you're also peppering in how weird life is with COVID, but it's okay with real estate, and there's ways to do it that are safe, and regardless of where you're on with, I'm never leaving my house, or I can't wait to be back to normal, and everywhere in between, because everyone's different, and you know, you don't know where they're at, and everyone is different. You're communicating that it's okay. People are really selling houses right now, you know, and it's really happening. And boy, is the market hot. And, you know, if I could go on and on, as you guys know, yet, are you doing it? So it's really not any more complex than that. However, if your database is 100 people that you know, like, and trust right now, that you have their contact info, and they're the kind of people that you'd maybe send a birthday card to, or call and say, hey, how are you? Let's get together. It's been too long. Great. But what if for $400, you could make that 250 people? And 150 of those were people you don't really know yet, but are showing buying or selling signs. That's good. And that's what we're talking about. Bottom line. So I think it's both, Stefan. You got to get the community, because when that gets shut down, you'll already have the community.
Right.
But grab as many people as you can until then.
100%. I think it's twofold. I think just having 1 million people, you need to nurture that, right? You don't get to have 1 million followers have one post, because they're going to lose interest. You're going to still, like you said, you know, be a broker of knowledge and value, and give back, and every day have something that's positive, where they're like, oh wow, I really walked away from that with something that I didn't know.
Well, and here's the thing is, each of you have different personalities. So some of you are really data and information driven. Some of you like pretty houses. Some of you like decorating. Some of you like fun, cool, weird stuff about houses. I mean, you could have just a funny thing, like, because there's so many weird things you see in houses right now. You can't like say at 123 Main Street, these people have this picture on the wall. No, you can't, you know, obviously be smart and think of privacy.
Right.
But I used to do that all the time, like share the most bizarre stuff that I would see in like while I was showing property. And it's amazing what you see, you know, like, you know, and so go with you, you know, have some fun with it. You know, if you're not having fun doing this, you're not doing it quite right. You got to make a little adjustment so that you're jazzed by this. And, you know, of course, respect privacy and all that. But I'm just saying, like, make it a point to go look at a beautiful home regularly and bring your people with you this way.
Mm-hmm.
Take your friends on a showing.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
My team, every time we were going to do a showing, we're asking the listing agent, is it okay if we video it for our client, and would be okay to reuse snippets of that to market it? I haven't had one say no.
Nope.
And that's what we're posting up on. We're starting up. I mean, Jessica knows I'm backlogged on uploading to YouTube. We have so many that we've picked up, and it's for the strategy of building SEO. We're putting it in YouTube. We are then sharing it to Facebook and Instagram, so that the SEO is constant, and then it flies across, you know, the other social media channels.
And not to overwhelm, because we're going deep and talking quite a bit of things. What if you just nailed one of these things? You know, and that's really it is. It's like thinking about, what am I going to do that I'm going to nail? And it could just be like, you know what? I already have some good people in my database. I don't really want to go grab strangers. Then don't do that. Or if you're one of those people that you'd rather work with strangers than the people you know, then go on that, like go all in on that. You got to figure your path, but these are all really good paths, you know? And they all end at the same finish line. So you got to figure your path, and it's not about this and then trying this. It's no, get one succinct path and follow it deep. Don't try to go off in 4 different directions, because you'll never get anywhere. So I like the idea that you're thinking of it as like a mini series, because then it's going to have a playlist and an end and finish, and it's going to have a lot of meat to it. But what I do is tell you to give yourself a deadline, so it's not 2 months from now and you're still working on your mini series.
Right.
Or put it out and then say next week, and then you have a deadline that you have to follow. Like, okay, I got to get
this together.
Yeah, because it puts the heat on you. Like, okay, next week I got to have next week.
There's nothing better than 500 people like, where is this video?
Yeah, what happened to next week, dude? Right?
I like it.
I got to tell you, last night was so fun. It was so good to see people again. You know what? I didn't realize how much I missed you until I saw you guys. And it's funny because everyone came in like masked up. So I'm like, okay, whose eyes are those? And it was funny because you guys know Margaret Jackson. And some of you don't know. Margaret Jackson is one of my best buddies. She was my assistant team leader for almost 3 years. She came up to me. She was only 10 feet away from me, and I didn't recognize her because she completely changed her hair. Like, her hair is totally different than it ever was. It looks great. If you see her, make sure you compliment her, because she looks great. But I honestly was like looking at her, I'm like, this person looks really familiar, but who is it? Because she had a mask on. And it's just so funny how that is. You know, the world is what it is. But it was so great. So I put this picture behind. This is from a bold class that we did. Because I actually looked at the list. We had 62 people show up last night to the office. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we had 3 people join us. We had a guy from EXP. We had a girl from Coldwell Banker and a couple from Berkshire Hathaway join us last night, that after coming to our office, they're like, this is what we want. I'm like, cool. So yeah, that was cool. But you know what it was? I just realized how much I missed you guys, and really actually physically seeing you. And so here's just a thought I want to just share with you. You know, because you got your little mini tribe, you know, it's like the 7 people that you're hanging out with COVID, right? You know, you got your direct contacts, and then you got your ancillary small group, and then you got all the people you used to see, right? I think that's probably about all of our lives right now. Or some of you are probably wild and hanging out with everyone. Good for you. But most of us are in that little cootie bubble. And what I realized is, okay, I'm seeing a lot of the same people. I'm sure my husband is sick of seeing me, and I love him, and he's so sweet. He just made me breakfast. Isn't he great? Maybe an omelet.
Very nice.
But you know what it is? It's like that next tier of people. Like I saw the Campbells. I wanted to hug them so bad. And I'm like, virtual hug, I missed you so much. Like people I used to see a lot that I didn't see. So I want you to think about this for a second. Who are like 5 people that come to mind for you that would have bet are those people? And just think about like, make an attempt to call them and just say, you know, I miss you, because I didn't realize how much I missed you guys until I got to see more of you. And it just like completely re-energized me last night. Like I was doing okay, but I didn't realize like doing this all day, like you give energy out, but when you're not physically with people, you don't get it back, even though it's digital. That's, I think, the weird gap. And so just think about that for a second, you guys, because there's that like little group that you see a lot of. What's the next layer? Who are those like 5-ish people? And I would challenge you to reach out to them, because they probably really will just be lit up just from hearing you and just acknowledging like, I can't wait till I can see you again, like normal. And just think about that, because it really hit me, and I'm sure it would hit you too, in a really positive way. So just think about who those people are, because I know that would really make their day or their weekend. In doing so, I bet you it will light you up. So just think about that, because I thought I was fine. I'm like, I'm good, you know, but I didn't realize how low in energy I actually was until I got filled back up, you know? So just think about that, because you guys are really special people.
No, it was cool. I mean, I got to meet people yesterday at the event that I'll pick on one here, is here just with a name and never saw the face. And then next thing you know, you meet them in person, and it's kind of cool to make those connections. And, you know, there was a ton of people yesterday that were just, I mean, starving for information, for help, etc. And that was, you know, it was good to be able to give them a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help.
Yeah, this is the weird year. You know what, though? It's almost over. And I never want to wish a day away, because I'm grateful for every day. But you know what? We're in control. And so just remember, we're still in control. We're in control of how we act and how we feel and how we think. And you can either let this defeat you or define you, or you can define it. And, you know, every now and then I get an autopilot where I'm just kind of getting through. And I'm sure you guys have days like that too. You're like, oh, golly, right? Or you can define it. And I think we have a chance to take the rest of the year and really get clear on where we're headed, and personally and business wise. And I think, you know, we've got Thanksgiving right around the corner, got lots to be grateful for, and we've got lots of good happening around us. Yeah, you can focus on all the crud too. There's plenty of it, right? But, you know, be the good. And you know what? You guys are great. So just remember, you are special. And anytime you'd like tap someone on the shoulder or remind them that they're special to you, you create a ripple effect. And I think the world needs right now that love. So just think about how you're going to send a little love to that next group that you're missing, because I got my bucket filled up just seeing people. And it reminded me how important that is, that sense of community.
Absolutely. Well, I talked to one the other day, well, the day before, and he's like, are you going to be there? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And he's like, okay, you owe me a hug. I'm like, oh, that'll be so nice. Like, because you just don't see people, right? Well, then, I mean, I'm not complaining, but hallelujah, I got an offer. So I was dealing with that all evening.
Good for you.
So I couldn't go. It was like, but anyway, I'm glad about the offer, missed the hug. And then, you know, I FaceTimed with my daughter. She's in Indiana. It was actually with the kids, right? And then my daughter comes in and she stands up and I'm like, oh my gosh, your stomach. My daughter is due November 1st.
Oh, wow.
Well, I know, but I have not seen her pregnant.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That must have been just bizarre to like her stand up and be like, my daughter has a child, a human inside her.
She's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, your belly. She goes, Mom, I'm due. And I go, I know, but I haven't seen you. So it is really hard. Like it hit me like, oh my gosh, you know, so. Anyway.
You know, the thing is though, you know, I make the annual calendar, and usually I make it like right now because it's our Christmas gift to all the family members. Mark and I haven't taken any pictures this year.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? You know, that hit, like, I'm like, I don't have any, we didn't take any pictures because it was like Groundhog's Day. We're doing the same thing. You know, like there's nothing picture worthy. I'm like, dang, you know, so, you know, when we look back at 2020, there'll be a lot of things that we reflect on, right?
We'll reflect. We're not looking back. We're not.
Yeah, okay, we're looking forward. But when we reflect on this year, you know, there'll be a lot of like, wow. And, you know, I don't think it hits you till it hits you. And so just remember, you have the power inside of you of love and connection. So think of who you can give it out to, because they probably really need it and they may not even realize it. And they're going to love you for it. And they'll probably ripple that out to a couple other people. It's kind of like paying it forward or just giving someone a little encouragement, what that will do. And so think of who your next little group is that maybe you miss and you don't realize how much you miss them. And then I'll tell you this, we had a great send off for Tana. My head hit the pillow at 1 this morning. So if I look a little peaked, I'm a little tired today. We gave her a good send off, but Tana is so sad. Like it's finally hitting her that she's going to not have us anymore. And so Tana and I have a date every week on Wednesday. We're having a glass of wine together because we don't want to miss each other. And, you know, that's how much we matter to each other.
That'll be nice.
You know, so just remember, you're that important to people and that people are that important to you. So think about who those people are and give out some love. I bet you get it back times 10. Okay, guys.
Jessica.
Friday,
That was nice. That was very encouraging. Thank you.
Well, you know what? You are special. You are. Michelle, you are awesome. And, you know, you are. We all are. We all have so much to give. So, okay. So when you're going to see me next, I'm going to be 46. So we're going to go shove off and go into the Gulf of Mexico and go hide from technology for 2 days and hopefully catch some red snapper. So
yeah, you enjoy. Get some snapper. We have to come up with snapper recipes.
Oh yeah. You know what I was thinking is when it's publicly okay, I should just do an open house at my house and have a fish fry and you guys can come on over because Mark and I have a fridge full and we're going to catch more this weekend. So
very cool.
You guys have a wonderful weekend. I love you guys and spread the love. Spread the love.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you, Jessica.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.